Good morning, students. I am Aruna, HOD, Department of Zoology, JJ College for Women, Autonomous, Tenali. Today I am going to discuss about lymphoid organs. First, we should know the objectives of the topic. They are: one, to know the immune system, to know the structures of primary lymphoid organs, to understand the functions of primary lymphoid organs, to know the blood composition, to understand the functions of blood. Lymphoid organs are two types. They are namely primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. So lymphoid organs concerned with immune reactions. They are known as lymphoid organs. Lymphoid organs contains lymphocytes. So the lymphoid organs and lymphocytes constitute as a lymphoid system. So the majority of this system is concerned with lymphopoiesis. Lymphopoiesis means lymph means lymphatic cells, poiesis means origin of lymphocytes from this system. They are already I told you these are two types, namely primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs namely thymus, bone marrow and bursa fabriceus, it is present in birds. Second type, secondary lymphoid organs, they are namely adenoids, tonsils, lymph nodes, spleen, Peyer's patches, appendix and again lymph nodes. Then let us know about the primary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs, these organs they are mainly concerned with lymphopoiesis. Lymphopoiesis, already I told you about the production of lymphocytes. Here in this, the main organs, thymus, then bursa fabriceus and another one bone marrow. The first one is thymus. See, origin. It is a pharyngeal derivative. It is originated from third and fourth pharyngeal pouches at about 6th week of gestation period. Size. So after birth, its size increases along with the body growth. So it increases its size, it reaches maximum size at about puberty period. So after puberty, gradually the size decreases. Slowly it decreases, finally it diminishes. Difficult to find out in the fat tissue. Completely disintegrated in the adult stage. Third one, shape. In human beings, it has two lobes. Two oval lobes are present. These two oval lobes, they are arranged just behind the top of the sternum, below the thyroid gland. These two are the two lobes. Thymus gland, two lobes. And then next we will see weight. Weight. At the time of birth, its weight about 15 to 20 grams. After that, it reaches maximum size at puberty stage. At that time, it weighs about 40 grams. Next. Now we look into the transverse section of thymus gland. This thymus gland, it has two lobes, a right lobe and left lobe. Again, each lobe contains many lobules. These lobules get separated from one another by a septum. Then each lobule contains outer region cortex, inner region medulla. This complete thing is enveloped by a fibrous coat, that is the capsule. Then we will see in detail about the transverse section of thymus. Here it has two regions. Outer region is the cortex, inner region is the medulla. This complete thing is enveloped by a fibrous coat, that is the capsule. capsule projected into the inner part. This projection is known as septum or trabeculae. The outer part is the cortex. Cortex is tightly packed with immature lymphocytes. These immature lymphocytes, more in number. Then in addition to these, many other large sized reticular cells also there. These reticular cells contains many projections. They cross with one another to form a network into which these cells are entangled. Then these immature cells, they get matured, then migrated to the inner region medulla. So here in the outer region, immature cells are there. Inside in the medulla, we can see mature cells. Then in the medulla region, vascular structures are there. Vascular structures. Then here and there, macrophages also there. Here matured lymphocytes only present. They are less in number when compared to reticular cells. These are large size cells are there. Then some interdigitation dendritic cells also there. They contain MHC class 2 antigen surface markers. Then on lymphocytes contains thymus antigen surface marker. Then another structure also there, they are Husserl's corpuscles. Husserl's corpuscles, they are arranged, they possess many whorls of epithelial cells around the central core, which is formed by disintegration of epithelial cells. That is known as Husserl's corpuscle. Its function not known. So, all these cells, lymphocytes, T lymphocytes, when they are in primary lymphoid organs, they are non-functional. After that, these immature cells, non-functional cells, slowly reaches the secondary lymphoid organs like lymph nodes and spleen, tonsils, base patches, etc. They become functional by the stimulation of antigen. We will see the functions of thymus. Thymus produces T lymphocytes. It brings about cell-mediated immunity. Cell-mediated immunity means cells directly involved to kill the bacteria or disease-causing germ. It brings about graft rejection. Next one, thymectomy. What is thymectomy? Surgical removal of thymus gland from the animal. That is known as thymectomy. So, thymectomy, when we remove this after birth of that mice or any animal, they have conducted some experiments on mice. So, scientists removed that thymus gland after birth of the mice. That is known as, that condition is known as neonatal thymectomy. Neonatal thymectomy. So, it causes, when we remove this one, this thymus from this mice, what happens in that mice? Loss of weight and showed atrophy of the lymphoid tissue. Lymphoid tissue does not produce. Then hunched appearance, that means bending appearance, ruffled fur. Fur is rough in nature, and diarrhea. These symptoms are seen under wasting disease. So when we remove this gland, wasting disease is seen in that mice. So when we keep this after thymectomy, when we keep this animal in a germ-free environment, it will not get any wasting disease. Then another one, lost cell-mediated immunity. That means T cells are not directly involved in killing of disease-causing germ. Then second experiment, skin transplantation. They did skin transplantation in that thymectomized mice. What happens? After few days, there is no rejection of skin in that animal because it has no thymus. But in normal common mice, they observed transplantation rejection. Transplantation rejection is seen in normal mice, but in thymectomized mice, there is no rejection of skin transplantation. Then another experiment. In adult, they have observed when we remove this thymus in adult stage, what happens in that animal? It shows immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency means there is no immunity in that animal. So easily it will get more diseases. Next, second organ is bursa of Fabricius. It is seen only in birds. It is seen only in birds. So bursa of Fabricius, it was described by a scientist, Fabricius, Italian anatomist. He described first. That's why the name was, hence it was named as bursa of Fabricius. So this bursa of Fabricius, the source of B cells in chickens. It is seen in a chicken. Okay. So here it is a dorsal diverticulum. It is a dorsal diverticulum. It is present at cloaca of chicken. Cloaca, hindgut region. So it reaches maximum size by 4th month at about 3 centimeters. See here, this is the diverticulum, bursa Fabricius. And then when we see the structure of this bursa Fabricius, the structure is resembles with the thymus. Resembles with the thymus. When we see the transverse section, it has many follicles. Here many follicles are there. When we see each follicle, here again it has outer cortex, inner medulla. Outer cortex and inner medulla. This region is the bursal epithelial lining. So in this we can see lymphocytes, macrophages and plasma cells. Functions of bursa Fabricius. It produces B lymphocytes, macrophages and plasma cells. It brings about humoral immunity. Humoral immunity means we'll get immunity from fluids. Cell-mediated immunity means directly we'll get immunity by using of lymphocytes, T lymphocytes. Whereas here we'll get immunity from fluids, blood and lymph by producing antibodies. Antibodies are secreted by B lymphocytes. It performs humoral immunity. Then third primary lymphoid organ is bone marrow. It is also a primary lymphoid organ. It has soft tissue within the cavities. This soft tissue in human adult, it is largest tissue. Total weight of this tissue about 3 kg in a human being. In an adult human being, we'll see 3 kg percentages of weight of bone marrow. It is divisible into two regions, namely vascular region and hemopoietic region. Vascular region. Vascular region, it is a circulatory system. Circulatory system supplies nutrients and removes waste materials from the developed blood cells, from the growing blood cells, supplying nutrients and removing waste materials from the blood cells. Second one, hemopoietic region. Bone marrow is a hemopoietic region. Poiesis means origin, hemo means blood. Blood is originated from bone marrow. So, here vascular region occupies half part of the total weight of the bone marrow. Hemopoietic region occupies half part. Half of bone marrow which is actively involved in hemopoiesis is known as the red marrow, because this contains red blood cells, more number of red blood cells. So it looks like red in color, that's why it is called as red marrow. Then blood cell development. Bone marrow is the origin of blood cells. They are developed from bone marrow. So this bone marrow has hemopoietic stem cells. It has two types of stem cells. Pluripotent stem cells are there. They have the capacity to develop any type of cell. They are also known as totipotent stem cells. So these hemopoietic stem cells produces heme, blood. These stem cells produces two types of cells, common myeloid progenitors and common lymphoid progenitors. Common myeloid progenitor produces megakaryocytes. Megakaryocytes produces thrombocytes. Thrombocytes, they are the blood coagulating factors. They are involved in blood coagulation. Then second type, erythrocytes. They are the red blood cells. Third one, mast cells. Mast cells, they resembles with the basophils. When they are present in blood, they are known as basophils. When they are present at tissues, they are sessile, they cannot move. They are present at tissues, they are known as mast cells. And another one, myeloblast cells. Myeloblast cells produces granulocytes and agranulocytes. These three comes under granulocytes. They are namely basophils. They are about 1% or 0.5%. Neutrophils. Here, these are also known as polymorphonuclear cells. They are about 70% of blood cells. They are phagocytic in function. Eosinophils. Here, nucleus is dumbbell shaped. They are about 2 to 6%. Then monocytes. These three comes under granulocytes. Then monocytes, it's about 3 to 8%. These monocytes and lymphocytes both comes under agranulocytes. Here monocytes, they produces macrophages and dendritic cells. Macrophages are present at tissues. Monocytes are present in blood circulation. Then we will see into the lymphocytes. Lymphoid progenitor cells, they are about 27 to 35% cells. They produces natural killer cells. Natural killer cells, they are granular lymphocytes, that means they releases some granules to kill the bacteria. Then another type, small lymphocyte. Small lymphocyte can produce T lymphocytes as well as B lymphocytes. These B lymphocytes produces plasma cells. Plasma cells finally secretes antibodies. see here, lymphocytes. I told you about T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes. See, this is the bone, contains bone marrow. This bone marrow has stem cells, pluripotent stem cells. These, some of them migrated to the thymus gland. Here they can mature, they can get matured, they can get modified by the action of thymosin hormone, thymic hormones. So they become T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes. So when they are present in a primary lymphoid organ like thymus, they are non-functional. When they reaches the thymus dependent regions like secondary lymphoid organs, lymph nodes, spleen, etc. After reaching here, they become functional by the stimulation of antigen. Here they get exposed to antigens in secondary lymphoid organs. Then another one, this bone marrow produces some other stem cells. They get matured here. Here itself they get matured. They become B lymphocytes. B lymphocytes are also non-functional when they are present here. They enter into blood circulation, finally reaches the secondary lymphoid organs. After reaching here, they become functional by the action of antigen. By the action of antigen. See, we'll see this bone marrow produces during secondary immune response. A large number of plasma cells are produced in the bone marrow. These large number of plasma cells secretes more number of antibodies. What is secondary immune response? What is primary immune response? Primary immune response means any person can get infection at first time by a new disease causing germ, that is the primary infection. At that time our body gives response to that infection, that is the primary response. Then again this body attacked by same pathogen in second time, that is the secondary infection. At that time our body immediately secretes antibodies because our body has memory cells. Memory cells are useful to immediate action. If they involved in a immediate response, immediately they secretes, our body secretes more number of antibodies to fight and to eliminate that disease causing germ. That is known as secondary immune response. It is taken by our bone marrow. Okay. Then functions of bone marrow. So hemopoietic stem cells arise in the bone marrow. Blood cells, namely RBC cells, WBC cells and platelets are developed. Third function, majority of lymphoid progenitors develops into B lymphocytes in the bone marrow. Some of the lymphoid progenitors migrate into the thymus where they develop into the T lymphocytes. During secondary immune response, large number of plasma cells are produced in the bone marrow. They secrete a large amount of antibodies. So, bone marrow is a source of antibody synthesis. Bone marrow functions both as a primary lymphoid organ and as a secondary lymphoid organ. These are the functions which are performed by bone marrow. Let us see recapitulation. Today we have learned about lymphoid organs, primary lymphoid organs and secondary lymphoid organs. First of all, we learned objectives. Second one, primary lymphoid organs, names of primary lymphoid organs, names of secondary lymphoid organs. Then primary lymphoid organs. They are named the first one thymus. Next, functions of thymus, bursa of Fabricius, functions of bursa of Fabricius, bone marrow, functions of bone marrow. I hope you have understood well. All of you clear? Thank you.